your joy?
Of course not. Snug as a bug on a drug.
Well, come on then, finish up.
Yahoo!
Hey guys, and welcome to my first video for my I've Never Played series. I thought I'd start off with an early access game called We Happy Few. The game is set in an alternative 1960s England where everyone is so happy due to the drugs they take and they can't see the reality of what's actually happening. All the people that are currently not on the drug are actively trying to escape the town of Wellington Wells. Getting started, you're thrown into the shoes of Arthur Hastings, who seems to be working on newspaper articles trying to only show the happiest things going on. After the intro, he'll talk about if he should take his joy or not. Joy is a pill that makes anybody who consume it feel like they're living in a delightful paradise and completely forget about everything else. You're given the option to choose, and if you choose to take the joy, the screen will become more vibrant in color, fade into white, and then start to roll the credits. Congratulations, you just beat We Happy Few. But if you decide to ignore it and not take it, you start to remember everything, most noticeably your brother Percy. Gameplay is pretty straightforward when it comes to anything first person. It's also a survival game, so you'll need to gather as many resources as you can. If your inventory becomes full, you can always drop items or place them in your personal chest for later. The inventory also doesn't organize itself, so you'll learn pretty quickly how to better optimize everything to fit. The way quests work is something interesting as well. Unlike other open world story games, when it gives you a quest to look for an item, it doesn't lead you to a building or place and tell you to search around. In fact, it'll tell you that it's in the town, but you'll have to find it yourself. And it wasn't as frustrating as you might think. I actually started to enjoy the idea of it. The game encourages exploration, and from what I've found, many side quests and some useful items are abundant. Side quests are scattered around, and you'll see them pop up on your screen if you're near one. I'm not sure if rewards are static or randomized, but I didn't really get anything of use at all. I think I got a rotten piece of food at one point. Still, with all the items I found, it's hard to dismiss the fun quest just because of the reward. The side quests are innovative and are sometimes puzzles themselves. At first, the survival aspect wasn't a huge deal in the first town for me. I mean, food that wasn't rotten was always a delight to find, and there's usually a water pump before I started to die of thirst. This became a bigger deal in the next area, the one filled with joys. Non-rotten food was easier to find, but there's no water pumps in this area. In fact, if you want water, you'll have to sneak into a Joy's house and drink from the tap and fill up any containers you may have. I also forgot about thirst because it seems to drain slower than food. Food is my biggest concern, always telling me you're feeling hungry after it drops below half. This survival aspect was easily manageable, though you'll also need sleep. Letting some of these things fall can lead to stamina decreasing or even death if not found soon. I did run into what I think is a bug and hopefully will explain some things if you're also playing the game. During the first mission, getting across the bridge, I jumped into the water thinking I could swim to the other side, avoiding the bridge. Not knowing I had just killed myself, I awoke on the other side of the island and explored the whole thing for maybe an hour or two before turning to the internet. Nobody could help me and I thought I had to restart the game. I checked the pause screen if I could revert back to a previous save, but I couldn't. I had already killed some guards trying to toss them into a laser door trying to open it, and was given a keycard for killing them. I finally realized after spending hours on what I thought was hell, I found and used the developer cheat Ghost Mode. I backtracked all the way back to where I died, and I kept going on as usual looking for the item I needed to cross that damn bridge. Following another 2 hours of constantly searching, I remember I saw a keycard on the door. I used the ones I got from the guards, and it worked, and I felt so stupid. The game was creepy, yet fantastically entertaining. Everything from the people you meet, the downers, the joys, and the bobbies, to the atmosphere the game provides. Downers are exactly what they sound like. They're one of the first NPCs you meet, aside from the ones in the prologue. They walk around completely depressed because they don't have any more joy. Downers beg for food and live in torn down houses or even rubble, and if the player decides to interact with them, the downers will most likely speak some sort of gibberish. Joys are the opposite. They're the citizens in the game that are always happy. Upon inspecting this area, you will learn you will no longer have to rely on the joy pills to get past those dreaded downer detectors. Every time you need something to drink, the water not only fills your thirst meter, but will also give you the joy buff. The player mainly sees these NPCs doing strange things, being overly joyed at the weirdest things, to jumping in puddles all around this area. They are not afraid to fight back if the player does them wrong, such as going to their houses and getting caught or helping the bobbies try to take you down. Bobbies are the police in the town, and they're the definition of creepy. When I saw the splash art for this game on Steam, I thought they were just masks, and I continued thinking this until I actually saw one while in game and proceeded to talk to him, only to find out that they are indeed real faces, which only up the creepiness factor. Now this applies to Joy NPCs or bobbies, but if you're not on Joy and you stand in front of them long enough, they'll actually realize this and start attacking the player. This means you have to pay attention in order to avoid running around a block and evading them. But since I'm more afraid of bobbies, I tend not to notice when I stood too close to the joys. When given a quest, you need to be careful about it if there's bobbies around. Almost anything can set them off. At night, things start to get easier if you don't take the main roads through the town. Bobbies will be looking for any citizens found past curfew and will attack on sight if found. They aren't hard to lose, and sometimes I had to lure them out around a corner to take them out to get to my quest point without issue. Overall, I had a lot of fun with the game, despite a couple of bugs I found, which is expected in an early access game. The game as a whole gave me a Bioshock feel, which I personally think it's because of the alternate reality in the story. The survival aspect wasn't too hard, and it was easy to maintain throughout the game. I didn't find too many weapons until near the end of the game, and I'm assuming I'll be able to use these when the new area is unlocked. I also loved how the game pushed the player to explore. It makes you find interesting items you wouldn't have found otherwise. The story was also well done. The concept of having to take a drug to become happy and blinding the public is an interesting concept. This game was definitely fun, and I'm going to keep with it until its full release. If you haven't played it or even checked it out, I highly recommend looking more into it. Don't forget to like and comment on the video. It lets me know what I can work on and what I did well on. Subscribing keeps you up to date on all my other videos, and I'll see you guys in my next INP.